I was waiting for Nick.
Oh, I was waiting for you.
Welcome back to the Talos of Tech podcast, everybody. I am the new Nick today.
What's been ordered, gents?
Man,
Fill me in.
chaos with a dash of anxiety.
I was up at 2 a.m.
Were you
and
really?
I couldn't fall back asleep.
What?
Well, I first woke up at midnight because whenever there's a pre-order, my brain is perpetually worried I'll pull a Nick and oversleep. So it's
Yeah, I
like
can see why that's pretty annoying.
I keep waking up thinking, oh crap, did I miss it? And then I'll check my watch and it's 12:01. I was like, oh, okay. I've got a little while. So I went back to sleep and then I woke up again. I was like, did I miss it? 2:05. I was like, okay,
no.
can't go back to sleep. Sat there, stared at the ceiling in darkness until 4:20 and then went live. And
As one does.
Apple made this incredibly stressful for all of us by not having a favorite option so we could configure the Series 7 beforehand, or doing the pre-order thing that they did with the iPhone 13, which I thought was very convenient and worked for me extremely well, and it was a lot easier to store as up, check out, done. This one, oh my God, it was horrible. I was frantically trying to get a watch band I liked. I couldn't find the speeder I liked. I kept looking for one that looked good, and then I found one that looked good, and it wasn't available. I was like, let me get this sport band. And then it was like, delivery unavailable, pickup unavailable. And I was
You
like,
were
okay,
cutting
now I
it
gotta
close
pick a different
there.
band. I really was. I thought I had more time than I did, but basically I realized that a few minutes had gone by and that there were probably going to be low volume, so I just select purchase on whatever sport loop happened to be selected at the time, which
Wow.
ended up being, I already forgot what it
You
looks
have
like.
some blue and ivy green something. You have
Abyss blue moss green
There you go.
sport loop,
Ew,
which looks weird,
Abyss blue.
but
Wow.
I looked through all of the watch bands that were available for launch day, and
Yeah.
I hated all of them. None of them looked good to me. So
Wow.
I at least, the truth is, I still have the watch band that came with my Series 6 in the box. I never unboxed it. So I don't plan on ever unboxing the watch band that comes with the 7. I'm just going to keep, as long as I got the graphite steel 45 millimeter, that was the target. I'm getting it on launch day, although I can't pick it up. There was no pickup option, so I have to wait for it to ship. I very likely you guys will have your Series 7s while I don't on the next episode.
Oh, that is so unbelievably unlikely. I slept
you didn't
through it
order?
again.
I wholeheartedly disagree with most things you just said, Drew. I never thought I could disagree with so much in a
Everything you
Why are
just said was
you-
wrong.
So-
Things you choose to be.
So I like most of the watch bands. The only thing I actually will agree is, just because it's a matter of record, is I couldn't pick up any of the stuff at any of the Apple stores either. So Apple stores
wow.
just don't seem to be. That's just not an option. Unavailable. I like.
Some did. Some
Really?
people were showing it, but not mine. So
Not mine.
At least is looking like not every store is getting it.
So I have an Apple store 50 miles north, and I have an Apple store 50 miles south, and I checked both, and both said unavailable for pickup. And I was
Ouch.
like, man, all right, okay. So
Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I have built a rapport with the UPS people now, since of delivering my 17 items last time. So maybe we have an understanding. I don't know. But I was torn between watch bands, because I want the one that you got with your standard one. That looks nice.
You can have it. You want it?
I do. I like it. I really like that one.
Next time we see each other.
It's a very nice color. I think I like all the
text it to
accents
Nick.
right now. Every every option minus the pink and the white bordered of the sports band, minus those. I liked all the accents that are offered right now. I even like the solid They have the moss green. They have like a forest green. They have all these. They look really nice. So first, I'll tell you what I ordered. Everybody, surprise, shocker. Green light. As you guys can see, green shirt. I ordered the blue watch today.
that makes so much sense.
I knew he was gonna say something. Like
that makes so much sense.
I ordered it to which we'll get to shortly because I know Nick
Snatched red, baby.
Nick is foaming at the mouth, but it's going to pair well with my new Fold, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But that is called a cliffhanger to make you stay for the whole show. So
we have too much to talk about this
but,
week. We have a bunch of things.
Yeah, so I got the green, and I stuck with. I'm trying the new green brown leather magnetic leather.
You did leather link.
I did. It looks so nice.
That costs extra, doesn't it?
I paid out the door. Okay, I need both of your guys.
I got charged right away.
I did too. So that was like, I need your guys' help with something because I did it again. Oops, I did it again. I bought multiple watches.
50 Mac Pros. He's like, I think I did it wrong.
I'm telling you, I have the worst luck. The app opened up exactly at 8 a.m. my time. Ooh. And I was like, Drew, stop talking. I'm in. And Drew's like, whoa, hey, look at this. And I'm like, you got to move, man. You got to move. I just could tell the information transferring through the app. Here's the thing. Fun fact, everybody, listeners, my dear friends here. If you just leave the app alone and don't refresh it, it will automatically jump you in. So,
what?
Yep. Because it did it on my iPad and it did it on my phone, and I got in on the Apple Store iPad first, and the UI for the Apple Store app for iPad is cleaner and just a better experience for me than it was on the phone. So I quickly sidelighted the phone and went straight, did everything on the iPad. It happened so quick because you have so much information presented to you right there. You could pick so much quicker. But exactly at 8 my time, everything just
mine was very punctual too. I was trying to warn people, like, it doesn't always go live right at the top. Sometimes it takes 3 to 5 minutes for the site to update. But yeah, for me it was like right on the hour.
I went to go refresh the app, like close it out and open again, and as I opened up the window, it went into the store. So so I click on it, and then my phone went right into the store. So it was like it was automatic. So for people who plan on doing maybe a pre-order of some MacBook or AirPods or whatever we get later on for the rest of the year, I see that it just automatically loads it up. So I got a cellular and non-cellular because I don't know which one to actually do this time around, and that's what I wanted help with.
What? Non-cellular.
Why do you want cellular?
Because
because he wants to throw money away, Drew. Come on, that's the only reason why people get cellular anymore.
Because you guys got cellular,
but not by choice.
I had to.
You can't get a stainless steel without cellular.
Well,
if they made us deal with that,
the thing is,
that's not a good reason.
What if you leave your phone? You're trying to detach from.
I have never once experienced that. Okay, sorry. There's like 2 times, like 3 years ago, but never once in the past 640 days have I left my phone.
Very specific.
For additional $100 though, I get a cool red ring around my cool green. Listen,
see, if you just exercised more, Randy, you'd fill up your red ring and not have to pay $100.
Oh, wow. Nick is salty today.
Ooh, I'm all the salt.
He's offended by the presence of an Android phone.
I am, honestly. Randy and I can't be friends anymore.
The only reason why I'm not clapping back at you, Nick, is because I think our friendship can be salvaged, and I am not going to say things I can't unsay.
Well, I fold on our friendship.
You got to know when to fold.
I think all colors of the watch aluminum. I like all of them this year. I like that midnight is a dark blue. I like that the red is actually a little bit pinkish. because it gives that flavor to the people who want the more warm tone. Like I actually know people who like purples and pinks and stuff like that, and they would like to see them like that. So now I could be like, hey, the product red is the iPhone 12 red, where it's not really red. And I like Starlight, where it has that little hue of gold still in it. So I really like the Apple Watches this year. I really wish for the edition, or whatever you want to call it, I really wish we had ceramic though, because I would have got that.
Yeah, me too.
This graphite thing, this titanium chassis with it looks like a dirty stainless steel. So
I wish it had the grooves in person. Whenever I see titanium in person, it doesn't look the way it does on the website. But I don't know. I don't like the midnight
we can get
look
some sandpaper.
personally.
You don't like midnight? You don't think it's a good?
No, it's like if you're gonna be black, just be black. Don't be like this.
If you're gonna be black,
off
be graphite.
Black. Yeah, they don't have that for the aluminum, at least. I'm glad I'm not getting aluminum this year, because I'm not really in love with any of them. If I had to get, I like Starlight actually. The Starlight Series 7 looks good. If I had to get a aluminum 7, I'd probably get. I need to see it in person, but maybe blue. It just looks a tad too light. But
the blue, I don't like the blue
often
this year. Not as much as I like the blue. Wait, the blue compared to the blue last year?
All the color.
Not compared to the blue last year. I like blue last year more.
It's
my
fascinating
fear,
how much
honestly,
we
my fear
differ
is
on this.
the blue last year was too dark, and I fear the green is going to be too dark.
I agree it was too dark last year, but this year it looks light on the website, so I'm hoping it's actually darker in person. And then somewhere I'll get my exact blue I like, but that's okay. I mainly bought the steel for the glass, the sapphire glass, was because I plan on this being my last Apple Watch for a while.
Oh, we have a lot of lasts happening. I trust I trust this will be your last Apple Watch for a while, because you're not one to just upgrade every year.
And see,
No.
here I am living in 2018, the best year of Apple technology.
Yeah, is that what you're saying about that
Apple
iPhone
Watch
there?
Series 4. That's why I'm keeping the iPad Pro.
10s
That's why
Max?
we love that 10s Max. Yeah, no, I have gotten a newer phone, but 2019 was a good year for non-iPhone upgrades. And
I mean 18?
2018. I'm sorry, did I say 19? Yeah.
It was a
whatever.
good year, 19.
It was 19 was a better year than 2020.
Before the fall.
Before the world ended.
Before the Empire.
You said you're keeping your iPad Pro. Where does that leave your iPad Mini, Nick?
In a box waiting to be returned to Apple.
What? No Mini? You love
No,
that thing.
I do love it. It's a great little
Isn't today the
child.
deadline?
I have like another 2 weeks, I think, or something. It was like the 21st or whatever when I had to get it back to them by. So I'm in no rush. But yeah, I really don't use iPad that much to begin with, and I knew that going into this. And the things I actually did use iPad for were pretty much like watching the occasional show or drawing, neither of which a tiny screen is great for. Now, on an airplane, when I was flying the past trip that I took, it was nice to have a smaller, more compact way to draw. That was fun. But at the end of the day, like if I had to choose between the two, I'd rather have, every time I picked up, like I'd use the iPad mini for like a day and a half or 2 days, and then I'd like pick up the iPad Pro and I'm like, oh, I love this. Just the size was bigger, the bezel seemed smaller, and then also, big reason, I turned on 120 hertz, and
What?
I'm not going back.
You notice now?
I
Wait.
notice. Okay, so
What happened? What changed?
all right, this was an experience. So I had the two iPhone 13 Pro Maxes that I had gotten because AT&T was dumb, and so was Best Buy, and I would slept through it. So anyway, I had the two identical phones. I was like, well, let's see if I can actually see a difference. And so I turned one off and one on, and I was just scrolling through Twitter and the user interface and whatever. And I I can't put it into words really. It's just it felt smoother.
It's something you feel.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't see it. I couldn't tell you what 120 hertz looks like. I probably couldn't really pick it out between the two, but it just felt smoother and better. And now every time I use a 60 hertz device, it just feels laggy. Like it's like I'm waiting for something to happen.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, Nick.
I hit
He's
the
been
switch.
red-pilled.
I know. I got red-pilled. This is bad. And so then I turned it on the iPad. And I was like,
if you take a look, quite statistically, it is more probable that you are going to get into 120 hertz over 60.
Yeah. So then I turned it on my
120 hertz feels smoother. Unavoidable.
Because what the bleep were you thinking when you went with 60 hertz?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. So I turned it on the iPhone and the iPad, and that was the final nail in the coffin for the Mini. It was like, you're a great device.
You noticed. I knew you would tell.
I know. I'm so glad that I finally figured it out.
3 years.
It is nice.
But it is nice. Okay. Well, so no one's keeping the Mini?
Nope.
It just financially doesn't make sense. The iPad
I'm never
2018
going to financially recover from this.
the 2018 iPad Pro is just too damn good.
It's too good. Every time I picked it up, I was like, ooh.
But not only that, it's
like
I already
so
spent the
many years
money.
old.
If I'm trying to save money, then keep the thing I already put the money on instead of trying to offset costs, which I'll still be out of pocket money. I don't want to do that. So there's nothing.
You think your iPad would sell for less than what the iPad Mini was worth?
Yes.
Even with the keyboard case?
I am of the opinion that iPads, and I'm of an opinion with nothing to back it up. I just don't think iPads sell the same way. I don't think anything sells the way an iPhone sells, and I would not just get the iPad Mini. I would get the folio case as well, and cutting it close plus shipping and doing all that stuff. There's a what's my time worth and what's the product is worth, and I already have everything established on the 256 gig model of the 2018 iPad, and I was gonna return the iPad Mini regardless because it was 64 gigs, and I almost filled up the thing just on my apps alone. So I would have to get the 256 variant, and that's additional cost plus the folio. And if I wanted to get the cellular, which was a probability as well, that I would do that. It's too close for me to care that much when I'm already situated, established, and there's inherently nothing's wrong with the 2018. It's just I like the mini form factor, but liking it isn't enough. 120 hertz is something you do notice immediately. That's not a deal breaker for me. It was for you, Drew. It's more of it's cool to have, but it doesn't change my YouTube experience because that's what I use the iPad 90% of the time is YouTube. It wouldn't change the stylus experience about tracing and stuff like that because the precision would still be the same with or without the refresh rate being increased. So the things that I need the iPad to be, it doesn't change with the higher refresh rate. It's nice to have. You do notice it, and I'm glad Nick notices it. It's just not it's a oh hey, that's a thing. All right, cool. That's a thing. Like True Tone, I notice it, I use it. Not a deal breaker if something has or doesn't have it for me. It's just hey, that's a thing. All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's hard to go back once you have it.
Yeah.
With promotion
and True Tone, like it's not something anybody ever upgraded for. I want the new iPad because it has True Tone, but then once you get used to it and then you go to a device without it, it's like, oh, wow.
I intentionally turn off True Tone only when I'm color grading. That's the only time. Otherwise, it's on.
Oh yeah, I don't do it on the iMac Pro, but yeah, everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no iPad Mini for Nick. I was kind of sad when I went on the site and got the shipping label and put it in a box.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I thought you were in love with that thing.
I am in love with it, but it
baby.
So the real test, I put it in my drawer for a couple days, and like I didn't miss it, and that was sad to know. I literally didn't have a time during the 3 days that it was sitting in my drawer that I missed it, and it was like, okay, well, if I don't miss it, then why do I want to keep it? So it is a beautiful design, and maybe one day I'll go back to it, but sad.
You think this is why iPad minis don't sell very well? Is because everybody has their own story of how like it's comfortable, but the bigger one makes more sense. Applies to more use cases. Like for us, the biggest one was just we use our iPad a lot for watching stuff when we're busy, like on the counter, in the kitchen, or in bed. Yeah. And the iPad is just objective. The mini is by design much smaller, so you just can't get as much of a visual, and you have to get closer to it to see as much. And like everybody has their own reason basically, and that's probably why, as adorable as it is, and I still think it's the best iPad of the year, all three of us ended up not finding a good use for it.
Yeah. You brought up a good point in your video, I think this week or last week, where iPad mini at the time when it came out, it was filling a gap that that Apple had in regards to screen real estate that has been met now with the iPhones. And so if you want a one-hand experience, you can still get it even with your phablet-sized Pro Maxes today and have a better display to work with because of the inky blacks with OLED, the max nit brightness, and possibly even the ecosystem that surrounds it with Apple Watch that could probably run better than what you would with iPad, case being Apple Watch, for example. The only thing that the phone is lacking that, I guess you can make a case for two things that the phone's lacking that the iPad would make up is having a stylus, if you are one of those people that like to have a stylus. And if you want a tactile keyboard accessory, then technically, like with this, you have that. If that's something iPad offers that you can't get on iOS. But outside of that, when you talk about displays and clarity and portability, getting a Pro Max would better suit your needs for most of those things than an iPad mini. But when I went to go return these products in the middle of the week, one of the Apple specialists told me, she was like, all I use is iPad minis, even though I have an iPad Pro. I have a 2020 iPad Pro. She goes, I love that thing for what it is, and I do most of my work on that thing. But with the mini, that's my go-to. It's with me everywhere I go in the house or where I'm out and about. She goes, I like having it for this thing. And I went from an iPad mini 4 to an iPad mini 6. And she's like, it's perfect. So there is a use case for it, but she admits, it's like, oh, it's a
narrower one.
I forget the word she used. Excessive.
Mini iPad mini use
redundant.
Cases.
It's redundant. She says it's a redundant thing, but that's her guilty pleasure because she loves iPad. She loves iPad OS. She's not a creator; she's a consumer. So she's really broken.
Even fits in my jeans.
Yeah,
it does. I was so happy about that.
Silly people. Those aren't even shorts. Yeah, no, they don't fit in my skinny jeans. I've tried. They don't fit.
They fit in my jeans. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. The iPad mini has changed my mind on foldables.
Ooh, really? How so?
Now I really don't see the point. I can fit an 8.3-inch display in my pocket, and it's glass, and it's $500, and it's great. And it does everything a million times better than the Z Fold does, other than the 120 hertz and the OLED. But you could totally make an iPad Pro Mini, give it Apple Watch connectivity, and give it the hardware, whether it's Mini LED or Face ID, 120 hertz. You could give it all that treatment, probably charge $700 for it. Like the 11-inch iPad Pro is bigger, uses more materials, and that's really pro. But yeah, you could have Thunderbolt, and you could have all this capability and all that speaker quality in something that fits in your pocket. So I'm like, I don't think we need to tackle this issue from our pockets are too small. It's like, why are we pushing all of this use case on? Well, the pockets can't change. Our pants have to stay the same, but I need my phone to literally find a way to fold in half so that we can have this hinge and a display that warps only a certain number of times. Instead, just buy some pants with some decent pockets. Okay, iPad Pro Mini can't be fitting in, short shorts for teenagers, but like, that's on them. Okay, you chose pants that don't support a more premium experience, so your go-to solution is we got $2,000 on these phones with these plastic screens that you scratch with your foot. Like, why are the whole experience is being blamed on the tech company, not the fashion industry?
Yes.
Yes,
I
the
think
fashion
they're both-
industry is to blame here. 100%.
If you're making pockets that tiny, don't get mad at Samsung for making their phone a certain size.
The
It's not on
tech
them.
is the fashion now.
Exactly. It's fast fashion. A15 Bionic.
That's right.
Yeah. So I went from, foldables are kind of interesting. I could see them having a market, to now like, no, you could just make bigger phones. If you want a big display, just make a bigger phone. I don't need it to fold in half. You can fit a very large display in your pocket. I mean, the Z Fold 2 wasn't very comfortable in my pocket either. This is just a giant brick. The TV remote sticking out and big bulgy thing in your pocket.
Oh, is
iPad
that what
fits
that was,
too.
Drew? Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought you were
iPad
excited
mini
to do
fits
the
too.
podcast.
So
Randy.
why do you disagree?
Me? I 100% agree with
Randy's
every word you
obviously
just said,
got a
Drew.
foldable.
Oh.
He is an Android user now.
I must know why.
bubble. I'm leaving. Bye.
Bye, Nick.
Bye.
You're not getting paid for today's episode. You're not at the halfway point. Just
We'll see if
how,
I
like,
edit
worth
this.
you know how you go to a movie theater and if you leave within the first half of the movie, you still get your refund. Second half, they won't refund you. Same thing.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. If
Wow, I'm going to watch the
Nick-
first half of a lot of movies now.
Let me know how James Bond's first half is, and then tell me if it's worth it.
Life hacks.
Yeah. So, foldables are innovative.
Stupid. I completely agree with you, Randy. Yeah. Useless, stupid, compromised. Yes, I would 100% agree with that.
I too am stupid, compromised, and all those
Ugly.
other
Oh, wait. Oops.
ugly. I'm ugly. I'm compromised, and I'm stupid. And that was the last we ever heard of him.
So,
It's gonna be like
why did you get pink?
800 folds.
Well, first off, lilac. Okay.
Sorry,
Pink
excuse
and
me.
purple
Lilac.
are gorgeous colors. Quit being a bigoted, Nick.
I'm not saying anyway. I'm just asking you
I'm
why you got that
showcasing this
color.
not for you, but for the visuals. If you are watching the show, if you are only listening, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend go to YouTube or go back to the app if you are watching on YouTube and just take a look at this. Look at that. All right,
Looks Sierra blue to me.
I love Sierra blue. Joke's on you.
It's Sierra pink.
That's periwinkle. I learned that. I didn't even know that was a color name, but everybody was telling me that.
Periwinkle.
Yeah, periwinkle. So you guys know I'm a sucker for one-handed use and small phones, and I like the mini, but I couldn't have the mini. But what's smaller than a mini? A foldable.
Not that.
Oh yeah,
Not that.
look
Honestly.
at that. Look at
Not
that.
that.
It's a
I've held the Z
square.
Flip unfolded.
know-
That's a very tall aspect ratio. It's a very
Gentlemen,
large phone. Hold
this-
it next to your 13 Pro. Hold it up. Unfolded.
You mean 13 Pro Max?
Oh, I couldn't tell.
the max? Oh, we didn't even talk about that. What
I
phones
kept
did we
analyzing
keep?
the photo. I was like,
I know. I purposely threw off the angle.
Yeah, that's the max.
I couldn't see it.
I kept the 13
huge
Pro. It's not the
phone.
Max. It's
Wow.
a 13 Pro, Nick. It's not the Max. I did not keep the Max.
Oh, I knew it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, unfold it and hold it next.
Somebody went out of their way to draw the line on my phone straight down to the Apple, and
They
they were
did.
like, "This is
I
how I
saw
know."
that.
And I was like, Very inquisitive. Good on you, whoever that was. That was very smart. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you? Okay, I'm trying to put it so
Wow,
you guys
look
can
at
see.
that
and I can
compromised phone cut in half.
It's bigger. It's bigger than
It's somehow
your iPhone.
bigger than your Pro. Wow, in
But
both
the
How is
only-
directions.
that catering
the
to
only
your
time
MIDI
it
argument?
matters is when it's in your pocket, and when it's in your pocket, it's never open.
No.
So-
no.
What?
No.
And it's thinner.
Fold it up.
is thinner.
Fold it up, and then we'll see.
Okay, so when I fold it up, now
Oh wow,
it's
look
thicker,
how thin that is. Woo.
But- it does go. See if I can get this on.
Ah, Randy! Ah!
Whoa.
Look at
A
that.
phone that fits in your
It
pocket.
fits
Incredible.
in his pockets, ladies and gentlemen.
Something we
Round
have,
of applause
something
to
we have
Samsung.
all taken for granted, and I just want you to know: one, Android is a better OS. Two,
Okay.
Samsung's version of their One UI, whatever, better. Three, it's more innovative because you can fold on a superior display. Because
Drew, he
it
better
is-
be getting paid at least $1 million here.
I-
Like,
the
I feel like I
O-
walked into the wrong movie.
I know, right?
the-
Come on,
the
we need to, this
OLED
is halfway through. We can get our refund.
The
The acting's
folding,
really bad.
the folding,
You can see he's crying.
the folding OLED display with bright, like Samsung has always killed it in the display department, which is why Apple keeps doing business with them because this
Killed it is a word for it.
when,
Yeah,
when you open it,
especially
it
when
killed
you
it
have your
like the
thumbnails
Note
out.
7.
No, like the fold and your
the
thumbnail.
molding. Hey Nick, do me a favor. I'm talking now. Shut up. So, when you open it up, the motion of the whatever this is falling apart. It's constant. They do dynamic wallpaper better than Apple, and best of all, Touch ID or their variant of Touch ID. You just can't beat it.
May I
love-
introduce you to Face ID on the iPad? That definitely
I
beats
love
it every day of the week.
everything. I love everything about this phone.
Well, then
and
get rid of
Nick,
the 13 Pro and get on this show.
and Nick is a bigoted jerk who deserves to be canceled.
Just Nick?
You're not
I
attacking
think
me.
Drew and
also
I
like
have
to
the
ask-
same opinion here.
Not
Do you
once
like
have you
having an
not
extra
once have you come after me for my looks, for my intellect, for nothing. So only Nick deserves to be canceled.
All right, fine. I'll
I
just
can't.
take
I can
pictures
go
of
after
rockets.
your intellect.
Well, then Taylosive Tech is hashtag cancel boycott Taylosive with his
Do you like
ignorance.
having an extra step every time you take your phone out of your pocket?
That's
Does
the
that-
best
has
part.
that
It makes
gotten
you
old yet?
it makes you appreciate the steps.
Oh wow,
I
ladies
see why
and gentlemen.
Randy's acting career never took off.
I know this is
He's fooling no one.
this is painful to watch, honestly. So how do you really feel,
Hey,
Randy?
actually, I'll tell you. Nick was the one who immediately. And even okay. First of all, guys, ladies and gentlemen, not of my hosts here, but our listeners. Some friends I have. It took someone else texting Nick for Nick to realize I had made a tweet about it, and then Nick going on a tyrant on that text, and then he goes to the group chat of this of me, Nick, and Drew, and it starts, Randy left. It took him having to go on this rampage last night from different group chats that we're in for him to even realize what I had done. So he is not a real friend. Boycott Nick, and it convinced him enough that he was irate and outraged the whole time with this revelation that I had posted an Android on my feed. With that being said, it's my mother-in-law's.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
So she bought it.
She
she's
doesn't. You know the saying. You know the saying that they say the youth is wasted on the young. I would say innovative tech is wasted on the naive who don't care. I was like, do you realize that you're holding the latest and greatest buzzword of foldable? And she goes, oh, no, I don't care. I don't know. She goes, she's coming from an S8, and her S8, she wanted the new S21, but when she went to the T-Mobile store, they told her, it's like, oh, we don't have any more any Galaxy S nothing. She goes, well, what do you have? She goes, well, we have this Z Flip, and so they couldn't even move.
Wow.
They couldn't even move inventory on the Z
She bought it
Flip
because it's all they had left.
because they couldn't move inventory, and she goes,
No one wanted it.
so
That is. I will revise what I said. That is the only acceptable time to buy a Z Flip.
I need a new phone.
She
All
goes,
the normal
I need a new
phones are
phone.
gone.
She goes, what do you have? And they said, we got a Z Flip. And she goes, I don't know or care what that is. I just know that I need to have a new phone now. So this is the only thing that
hilarious.
they could. This is the only thing they could not move inventory on. So
I love you, Randy.
I love him too.
and I laughed
that's hilarious.
like you. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed.
That's great. I was like, really? Like a normal person outside of the tech community bought a foldable. I'd love to hear her reasoning. Like, I want to talk to her about this.
Me
And you're
too.
like, they didn't have anything else.
When she told me, I was like, I was doing an improv interview with her, and I was like, this is the most dry, sad thing I've ever heard. And she goes, yeah. So then, okay, what you're about to ask, and I am about to ask the same thing. First thing I go, do you notice the hinge? Do you notice the divot in the screen? She goes, the thing is, much like her daughter, my wife, she is just not into tech like that. So she does not notice because she's left this phone at the house all day yesterday, and she's leaving
Very
it with
noticeable
me.
on the FaceTime.
Huh?
It's very noticeable on the FaceTime call.
Oh
The
my
way you're
gosh.
holding it, it's
Extremely.
Well,
like
okay, hang on.
abundantly clear.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You.
It's
you.
very obvious.
And then look, I'm not even using the reflecting of my ring light, and it's being picked up on the. You guys, it is so
$1,000.
Oh, look at that! Look at that.
$1,000.
So
That's the cheapest
Fully
affordable car.
compromised.
she positioned her apps. Hang on, she's positioned her apps. Come on, do the thing. Damn it! I hate Android so much. I can't do anything. This thing's terrible.
I take it back. Your acting was pretty good. You had me fooled there.
Yeah.
I know.
No, he didn't.
So
She's put the apps below the crease.
yeah, it's all below the crease, and
Why
this
does
thing.
Why does crease have to be a part of the tech vocabulary now? This is so dumb.
This is
Crease.
it's very noticeable. Anybody who's watching the show, I encourage you to look at the video feed. It is actually worse than what it looks like right now. And let's see if I can show it to you. Okay, look at that, guys. For you guys,
Wow.
it
that's
is
bad.
so noticeable. It bugs me. I'm glad she got this phone, because any curiosity I ever had, it being hands on with it is bad. It's bad.
I've never seen such a 180 in a single podcast.
I
That's
know. I
amazing.
think that was the most whiplash we've given our viewers.
To be honest,
ever.
I was gonna go the whole episode.
I bet you fooled a bunch of people.
I did.
At the beginning.
Yeah. I'm sure. I know I did. Nick isn't the only one who went irate on me.
Okay, let me read you the transcript.
I pissed off a lot of people.
So
I thought my thought process was not his mother-in-law bought one. I thought Randy was like bored and decided to pick one up.
me too. That's what I thought.
Like,
That's what I thought.
Talking
That's what I
about
thought.
tech stuff, and he wants to
Yep.
kind of intentionally tick Nick off, and,
Yep.
and he was going to go off about how this is really portable and it fits, and you know, I kind of like this form factor. You know, I thought he had this whole thing.
I knew you guys were gonna
but
go in
the
on
truth
me.
Couldn't have been more hilarious.
Yeah, no, I knew you guys were gonna go in on me, and I had came on to today's show planning to drag this out until the very end, and then reveal at the very end
okay.
that it was my mother-in-law's. But you guys just wouldn't let it go, and you kept wanting to bring it up, and I was trying to even
I'm sorry.
deviate
We
a little bit.
couldn't.
So I had to come clean. No, and the truth is, yeah, she didn't even want the phone. She likes the regular normal, not the Edge, not the. And
So
she
why
likes
hasn't
regular,
she returned it and gotten a phone that actually works?
Because
she
one
just needed one that day.
she needed one that day.
She has 2 weeks to go find one that she actually likes.
Nick, you're talking as a tech enthusiast.
I
She
know,
does
but
not
if
care.
I know she's going to try to be using this phone for 5 years, and I know for a fact within 6 months that screen is going to be in pieces, and she's going to be sad.
She doesn't bring this anywhere with her. She leaves this behind. She does not notice. She doesn't
leaves
care.
it with her son-in-law.
I had
Yep,
I had to
evidently.
show her. I had to show her how, because she goes, I like how there we go. I like how this display, whatever. I'm like, you can add widgets to it. And I showed her. She goes, huh? She like nobody
Just thought it was
knows.
for the time.
She doesn't.
Yeah, I
she
don't blame
doesn't.
her.
She genuinely could not care less. She uses it to take phone calls and a text message at best, and she tries to get off the thing as quickly as possible because she has a healthy relationship with tech. Even when she gets something
You
so
have to get off as quickly as
abstract.
possible when you own a foldable.
Actually, that if you know, Drew, that
I
might be
am
a
killing
one
it with
good thing
every
for the
fold. I am killing this phone quicker for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're not helping the
No.
situation.
Yeah. But she's completely
Wow.
indifferent. Her thing is that her preference is she started on Samsung's, so she stays with what she's known throughout the years. But she's
How
a standard.
unfortunate.
She's a standard. Oh, trust me. No. We tried getting her an iPhone, but she just her
Did
house
her
is.
S8 have burn-in?
I don't remember. I remember having it for so many years, and I remember touching it every time I go, we got to get you off this thing. The only reason she doesn't leave is because her whole house is already ecosystemed with Alexas and Googles and stuff, and she has no interest in. Oh, and also the real truth. The truth. I don't want her to hear, but the real truth is that it's a company phone because her husband has a contract with Samsung, and they're all company phones. So she's on the family plan with her husband, and so this is something where she's like, we're gonna stick
We have
with.
found the sole reason an average person would have a Z Flip. A company phone.
It's a
they
company
were all out of
phone
anything else.
that she's not really paying for, and she's just fine with a standard doohickey phone. And this was the only thing that T-Mobile had left for Galaxies or Samsung.
I love that because it not only says that people bought literally anything else, but also no one had any interest in the Flip because that's the only thing that was left. So
It's the
they
only
were
thing
like,
she could buy. She
"We
goes,
got
I
lots
needed
of
something.
these."
She goes, I don't even know what this is, and I don't care. I just need a phone because
Was the T-Mobile people not like iPhone?
it doesn't matter.
Probably
It's not
sold
with,
out.
it's not with the contract. It's not with the business
They
account.
probably didn't even have any. They were likely all back ordered in the first
probably.
place. But
Yeah,
that is the most hilarious story.
That is funny.
yeah.
Because
So
I've
Legitimately
yet to
funny.
find people like outside of the tech community / YouTube space that have. I've never seen someone for the record. I've seen Pixels. I have seen the Razer phone. I have seen occasional like out in the wild phones that I'm like, really, those don't sell in high volume. I remember specifically I was at a bar and there was a guy with a Razer phone with the logo lit up, and I was like, whoa, someone has a Razer phone. And it wasn't Wyatt. And
I was gonna say, rise up,
it's not
gamers.
Wyatt. And then there was a person with a Pixel 5, a friend of my wife's that I was
That
talking
poor
to
soul.
a while back, and I was like, oh, you have a Pixel, do you like it? And she was like, yeah, but I'm getting an iPhone, I want FaceTime. So those were the like occasional times I see someone outside of the tech community with a tech product that typically only the tech community is aware of.
Yeah.
I've never once seen a Flip or a Fold.
which is why I told
in
her,
all my
you don't
years.
realize how rare you are right now. And I told
she
her
is.
verbatim, I go, you don't realize how rare you are right now and how blatantly unenthusiastic you are about this. Like, you just don't care. and this
When
is
I
what
reviewed the Flip, I started putting it in my pocket unfolded because I was tired of having to unfold it every time I took it out of my pocket.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if she started doing that.
well, I she's been here for, this is day 3 for her. This has just been left around the house. She doesn't.
So
And
she,
that- she
doesn't
always
like
does,
it
even-
as much as I do.
She doesn't like it. She doesn't like smartphones. Period. She doesn't care for them. but
she tolerates the
she's
fold.
too young to get a jitterbug. That's the only reason why she has this.
I forgot about the jitterbug. That's best foldable.
That's the best
Hats
foldable.
off. The best foldable is the jitterbug.
Can I tell you how
Wow.
disgusting the bloatware is, though, on this thing? When I go into the app drawer and I saw the
yeah.
doubles of Samsung's and then Google's and then this, and she was showing me, she was like really upset. She goes, one thing I hate about this phone is the amount of bloatware notifications and stuff like that. So
Let me tell you everything I hate.
yeah, no, she
I
hates.
hate
She goes,
so much of what you choose to be.
Every time I review a Samsung, that's always like the biggest obstacle for me. It's like all the double apps and Samsung and Google competing with each other.
it's not clean. It's not clean. I would even go as far as to saying it's intuitive. It's kind of annoying in a very aggressive way, the way they try to force. I'm getting literal ads. Like, imagine, okay, for our iOS,
We get ads too, for the record.
superior. I know, but imagine opening up iOS and you just get a banner that says
For Apple
3
Card,
months.
get your Apple Card here. Every time I open the dumb wallet app, huge big splash screen. Get apply for
What are
Apple
the ads
Card.
for on the flip?
That's the thing. It's whatever other
3,000 singles in your town.
What other messaging client she's using is trying to say download now this with that whole package, and it's like she's not getting all her messages sent. They're not funneling in the same way, and the only thing that she was like adamant to make sure she got right was to get her Gmail established. So she has her Google. I'm actually looking at it right here. She has her whole Google. It's not even. Look, it's there. We go. Oh my god.
It does it for the camera.
Yeah, great. She has her Google apps here, and the only thing that matters was getting her Gmail established. So she got that situated. Maybe Duo, I guess. I don't know, and that's pretty much it. But outside of that, and she has security cameras at her property, so she had to have Ring. Outside of that, everything is pretty bare bones looking at this, but she was showing me that one app was communicating with another, which within its own little small ecosystem with itself that's outside of Samsung, and they were all getting notifications and buzz. So every time we were in the other room or something, we would hear and we'd come look, and the banner on here on this part is just saying one new message, but it's not a message. It's the app reminding you to do something, but it's treating it like, hey, you got a new text message, and she's like, that's so annoying. So it's just rude. It's what it is. It's rude. You're being rude. These apps.
What a twist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is the longest I've ever spent with an Android. I've never put my SIM in an Android phone. I have no intention to ever doing that. But just being with this for kind of like 12 hours now, I'm disappointed. Like it's the display. The display for what it is. Okay, cool. It's the refresh rate is quick. Fine. But the experience is flustering, and I'm gonna keep playing with it while she's out here, just so I can be fair and objective. But I can tell you, just from first initial impressions, I am not impressed.
No.
The hinge crease and all that, like, it's cool, gimmicky, because here's the argument I was gonna make with you guys when I was still telling you, like, it's mine. I was like, we're from different generations. I'm from the flip phone generation, so it's good to go back to nostalgic. But even then, it just feels like we've moved past that. Why don't we just get old cartridges that go, I'm trying to play GoldenEye. Like we're right. Past that. We're past
in the
all of that.
Apple Arcade.
Can we go back to a
age.
SATA disc,
Yes.
HDD hard drive? Because I like moving parts over a solid state. So certain things were past, and I don't understand a foldable besides it being showy. And And for the people it's supposed to be showy to, what you're saying, Drew, consumers, just regular Joe Schmoes, she could not care less. She didn't want it. She was like, "Hey, I'm coming from the 8. So how many years is that? 3 years? I'm coming from the 8.
4.
4. Okay, so that's about right. She's an 4-year upgrade. That sounds about right because she was on the S4. Yeah, she was on the 4 or 5 before that. So she goes, "All right, hey, new phone. Let's go. Let's get the latest Galaxy phone. Let's do this, whatever." And like, "Yeah, we don't got that."
Good luck.
Oh, okay. Can I get the Note? Yeah, we don't got that either. What do you got? We have this Flip. Can I leave the store today with this? She goes, "They're like, yeah."
Samsung's gonna buy a landfill to fill all the Z Flips in because they can't sell enough of them. They just build all of them and no one buys them.
We'll just start giving them away. You know how when you buy like a Note 7 or whatever, they give you all of the free accessories? They'll just start sticking Z Flips in with all of their other phones. Just like, oh, by the way.
Like a fireproof box and a hazmat suit.
Yeah. Important things.
Firefighter hat. They just include all this stuff.
Important.
I really hope she doesn't watch this episode because I don't know if I was supposed to talk about the contract part. Now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I might have overspoken. But
that's why we cut stuff. So y'all
no.
I mean, Randy just said
I did not name anything. I haven't dropped any names, so I think we're good. But what it is, I'm sitting here thinking like, why did she get this? Like, because she doesn't care. That genuinely, her reaction is, I just don't. She doesn't care. And I go, I'm so envious of your lack of interest in this stuff, because if you come into my world and you said, "Hey, I got this new thing," people are gonna have questions and you're gonna be way more interesting to talk to because of your experience with this new shtick. This is the new curved display thing that we were having with OLED TVs and stuff like that. And that's how I was trying to compare it to her. And she goes, "Okay, that makes a little bit more sense to me then," because her tech interest kind of stops at like what size TV she can get for the entertainment room or something like that at the house.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is the new gimmick of curved TVs. When everybody was trying to give you a ultra wide curved TV, this is the best thing.
3D.
And 3. Oh my god. So
my uncle had a 3D TV.
How did that work
I'm scared to put my nails on this screen.
Not great.
You can feel it.
Yeah, you should. You should be.
I am scared. I am scared for her. I'm like, I don't know how to help you with this. She goes, whatever.
Whatever.
She doesn't care.
Whatever. It's a phone. Don't make me work more for my phone.
It's her phone, and she's not paying for it. So
I admire her for keeping her phone for so long. So
Me
much
too.
so.
I really am sad that she got this one.
Randy's mother-in-law inspired me. So I'm gonna hang on to this phone for a long while.
I don't know, Drew. I don't know. I believe your intent, but I think Apple is just they know what we want. They're not stupid, and if they did it all at once, nobody would upgrade. They're going to give us the things that we want incrementally over time.
No, I agree. I'm going to wait till I have all the things I want. In
so
one upgrade
what's your end all be all? Thunderbolt? That's the definitive?
No.
Mac
I
OS.
would appreciate Thunderbolt. Mac OS, that'd be nice. There's a lot of things I want them to do to the iPhone, but there's not many things I can think of that would make me really need to upgrade or really want to upgrade at this point, just because the camera on the 13 Pro Max is insanely good. It blew my expectations out of the water. All I ever wanted this year was 120 hertz, but now we got all this other stuff, and the battery life is crazy. Like, on some of my lighter use days, I'm ending at 70%. Like,
wow.
That's insane. That's crazy. Like,
on
that's
the
never
regular
happened.
13 Pro, the lowest I got it down to was 43%.
Wow.
In a day? Wow. Yeah, I don't know if I've gotten it down that far in a single day.
I envy both of y'all.
Yeah, your use
come
case
on, Nick.
is so drastically different.
I ended about 5% every day, but it's still impressive that it can make it.
You
to 10,
needed this
5%
big
every
bulky
day.
battery bank
This is
for
the
a phone.
only phone that could handle that. I don't
Yes.
believe any Android
I don't
or
even think
anything
the
else
12
on the
Pro
market.
Max would have done it.
No, No, 12 Pro
It's
Max was worse
impressive.
than 11 Pro Max.
It's so
But
nice
I'm
not to have to charge every day or charge throughout the day.
So the battery was substantially better than I was expecting. The display is fantastic. The cameras are wonderful. Every tiny change that I've heard rumored doesn't warrant upgrading for me anymore, which is why I'm putting my foot down intentionally and putting myself on the record, because I want to be held accountable. I do want people to remember what I said, and I do want people to be like, Drew, you sure? I'm offended though how many people don't believe me. It's sad.
I believe
all the
you,
comments.
but I don't. It's not that I don't trust you. It's just I don't trust what you've been conditioned to do because of Apple's marketing. I can no longer confidently come on this show and tell you that I'm not upgrading because I went from a mini. I've let go of a beautiful phone because of all the things that you've just highlighted. That I 100, the refresh rate, the battery, the cameras. Dude, literally, I just put down the flip, and I picked this up, and I was like, this feels better. This aluminum crap, Nick, kudos where kudos is given. Kudos where kudos is given. The stainless steel, instantly, I was like, I feel like I'm holding a more premium.
Thank you.
And for the first time ever, from between this thing and this, I go, the squared off stainless steel feels more comfortable, and this actually feels like a more premium product with the frosted back and the stainless steel. And I immediately was like, it's convenient because of one less step, like you're saying, Drew. And I'm a creature of habit, so I know that I only know iOS, but just from intuitive simplicity of everything, I can't. It's really hard to. I can't be an Android sheep and make a case for this phone. But anyway, I don't trust Apple's marketing anymore. I can't confidently say I'll never not upgrade to something because the 12 mini was the end all be all for me, and even with the 13 mini now having the same cinematic mode and stuff like that was not enough to sway me from the fact that I love the macro photography. I like having the option of having telephoto, and the battery bank even on the regular 13 Pro is amazing. When I tell you that do you know how good a phone has to be for me to consider I almost stuck with the 13 Pro Max. At the Apple Store, I had not made up my mind when I went to go return all these products, and I paused and then I said, why won't I do it? And I made a list, and I'll send you guys a screenshot of the list. I checked it twice. I'm
thankful I wasn't so torn this year. It was very
this was the hardest year I have ever had to make a decision.
I haven't done this before. People kept saying, you say this every year. I was like, when have I said this? I've literally never come forward and said, this is my last iPhone for this amount of time. I bought the 12 mini intentionally knowing I would get a new iPhone in September with 120 hertz. I was like, I'm not going to buy the 12 Pro Max because it costs more and that's 60 hertz. If I spend that much money on a phone, it should have 120. So I'll go with the 12 mini because if none of the new iPhones have 120, then I'll get the cheapest one so that I'm ready for the big upgrade this year. And this is the most money I've ever spent on a phone. Most expensive iPhone takes the cake.
Because I do not trust myself with the marketing, I stuck with the 13 Pro mainly because it's cheaper. And
that's a very good decision.
If I'm going to be upgrading next year, which there's a very high chance I will because I don't have faith in my discipline anymore. I rather save money where I can. And I sent you guys the screenshots, and if you want to put them on the show, whatever, Nick, I had a pros and cons. I had to get analytical because emotionally I was so split. I did a tweet. My heart says 13 mini, but my brain says 12 Pro or 13 Pro Max, and I've never felt this struggle before. So it's hard. It's hard. I actually had fun using the Pro Max. I got used to it instantaneously. And what Nick spot on said, put the iPad away, see if you miss it. I put the Pro Max and the Pro away, and when I put my SIM in the 13 mini for 3 days. I didn't even go the full 3 days. I went straight for the 13 Pro Max. That was the phone I grabbed. I missed it. I held it. I'm like, yes. And I had more fun with that phone than I've ever had fun with anything. Design-wise, the Mini will always have my heart. But when we talk about fun, and I think you can't put a price on fun, I had more fun with the Pro Max than I've ever had with any smartphone, bar none, period. And I can say this from someone who's trying a flip phone right now in 2021. I had more fun with the 13 Pro Max, and I still miss that phone. But for everything that it is, the regular Pro is just as good, just smaller blueprint. It fits my wireless charging with the MagSafe Duo, which is important. It fits in my wireless charging Tesla. So everything that I would need it to just keep me online, spot on. It's loud, it's bright, it's smooth, it's crisp, it's confident in its design that like I don't feel like I can scratch it if I tried. It made me feel more secure as a man.
That is important. That's why you buy phones.
That's what you need a phone for. So I believe you both are still planning on upgrading annually. Well, I don't know if Nick is. Are you?
Yeah.
I assume you'd need to for battery alone. You don't even need new features. It's just
I know I'm gonna nuke this battery in a flat 3 months, so I'm sure I'll be complaining about battery. But I got Apple Care this year, so we'll just get a new one in 3 months. I hate
Smart
saying
man.
that, but I'll need the battery.
You don't see yourself keeping the Max more than 12 months.
No, I mean I'll probably get the 13S Max or 14 Max or whatever.
Because I hear people say a lot of the same things Randy has said, which is just, Apple's marketing, or they'll get you, or they'll convince you. But I want to know how. What exactly are they going to do that's going to change my mind? Because I can't fathom something that would be a deal.
We saw an upgrade from the 7 Plus with portrait photography, and it just got better. Mm-hmm. I suspect the same thing will happen with the video aspect, which is only a win on my end. Right now, the case I've made for anybody is that it's a camera first now for me, and it's a camera that has a battery bank and internet connectivity in this ecosystem that we call iOS. That's it, but it's a camera first, and it is one heck of a camera that we just can't pretend isn't going to. I'm in the camp that cinematic mode is a game changer long term. In the next 3 to 5 years, it is going to change everything, and I wholeheartedly believe that. And so, because of that, I want to see within the next 3 to 5 years how those advancements are going to be. And dare I even say it's going to hold relevance to LiDAR. And that is weird to me because I think LiDAR is the most useless thing right now.
Yeah, I was going to say. LiDAR,
it's completely,
I have no
it's
clue
pointless.
What the point is.
It's pointless. It's absolutely pointless. But I think it's going to. I think it's all going to tie in together. I am a bit pointless. You're right. I am. But
so you think it'll be camera upgrades that convince me to upgrade?
I think
and
so.
Break my promise.
Yeah, I think so because I think it's going to have a compounding effect now. The way these cameras, nobody. I'm kind of done with the iPhone challenge because nobody over the last 2 years has doubted its capabilities, and since it's no longer being doubted, it has only compounded its effect and utility and convenience for everybody and anybody. Not a single person is going to say a YouTube channel with an iPhone. No one's going to make that argument anymore. And they're not slowing down. That's the beauty of software and hardware, but especially software. It's not slowing down. They're only optimizing these things. How are you going to put so much more camera capabilities in lifetime, but still give you 2.5 extra hours of battery? Because now we're just letting the chips do its thing, but the software is there. And I think they're purposely holding back on some software just to make sure that it's a happy balance of good battery life and performance. And in A16, A17 chips will only give us those abilities to do the ProRes 4K at 60 and then they're gonna do something else and be like, but now you can lifetime filter. I gotta show you guys, and I'm gonna upload it as a YouTube short. The way it tracks in cinematic mode on non-objects is so clean. after you go into post and adjust it, I went for a walk out here in the forest and I saw some berries. I'm like, ooh, look at that. And it had a hard time focusing on it. After I watched it and I told it what to track just by touching it, and it tracked it and it reprocessed it, you would have thought this thing was shot on, I people who don't know no better, I can see how they think it's a red camera. You would have thought this was shot on a cinematic camera, like a real cinematic camera. And this is a first gen thing with this type of software. So it's only going to compound.
That's how I see it now. I don't doubt that it'll get better. I know full well we should probably expect 4K at 60 ProRes and cinematic mode next year. The way I see it is a smartphone will always be artificially trying to emulate what a real camera can do naturally. And as good as cinematic mode is, I think it's a great substitute, basically. It's a step in. It's like if I'm away from my real camera, if I don't have access to the actual bokeh in lenses, the iPhone can be a decent replacement. I don't see the need of having a dedicated camera or the capability of dedicated cameras changing, even if cinematic mode was 4K at 60, even if it was 8K at 60. It would still be an algorithm with machine learning doing its best, in the same way that, Nick can attest, portrait mode on the iPhone has gotten really, really good, but it's still no DSLR replacement. It's always just, that's really good for a phone. That's really impressive for something that goes in my pocket. And that's how I feel about video performance today, because I shot 3 or 4 of my tech videos in cinematic mode, several of which I didn't say anything. And we had lots of people saying, like, hey, this looks great, or some people saying, it looks a little bit worse, but for a phone, it's still impressive. So I still see it as, like, if I'm going to be compromising anyway by going with a phone instead of a dedicated camera, why would I get picky about frame rates and resolution? Because what you're going for when you're taking video or pictures from a phone is, it's impressive, it's astounding for a phone. It's not about replacing. I don't think it's ever going to get to the point of, all right, now we don't need the Sony cameras or the Blackmagic camera. I see it always being a few notches behind or a few notches down in the real details, because it's not artificially creating something that the iPhone is emulating, trying to get the bokeh right. But for the average viewer, if they're watching a video I shot in cinematic mode, they're like, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it looks fine. It's like, I'm impressed, but I don't see the need to, like, refine and spend more money on investing in the substitute option. It's like, that was the one thing I was getting held up on before I did this review. I was thinking about it. I was like, I got 120 hertz now, but do I want to wait for ProRes or cinematic mode to get better? And then I was like, that's pointless, because the only reason you'd be using your phone to film is because you're substituting a real camera. And in that case, the details don't matter. The frame rate doesn't matter. The resolution doesn't matter. It's people going, yeah, it's good enough. It looks fine.
May I push back?
It covers the basics.
I have one pushback for you.
Okay.
You said that it's not going to get as good as a real camera. And my pushback is that this is a real camera, and that they were never meant to compete.
Right.
Hang on.
Okay.
No, hang on.
Let him finish.
Hang on.
It's fake news. Fake camera.
They were never meant to compete with mirrorless or SLR cameras. And for its price range, what it does is put itself in a new category, which is software that you're bringing up. And that is an intentional direction that they're going in, is in software. They are putting their money where their mouth is, in the sense that they are investing in the software that is going to be more important than the hardware for this style camera. With the caveat being, you're in a price bracket. Your mirrorless cameras and your SLR cameras are also capped at a certain point, depending on, I mean, Nick has gone into, like, the difference between a full frame and all that. Like, there are certain categories each thing hits its pocket in, and you're spending your money then on the lenses. And when you want to put $12,000 into a very good camera set for what it is, and we're not even talking red, it is possible, and it is a realistic total that people would have when it comes to that gear for wanting to get these very specific shots. And now when you go into a cinematic environment or a production environment where they have these hefty cameras that are IMAX capable, like that's the bracket for that. And Apple's not trying to dethrone that. But
no, I agree.
What everyone has now kind of replaced are their point and shoots, which that was an easy market to attack first. And I'm not even gonna say attack like they were like, let's kill this industry, but it is in the sense as like that's not really a big hill to conquer to get over that. And they kind of, by doing what they did with software, carved themselves a new path that is intentionally software driven. If you punch in, yeah, you're going to notice pixelations in a way that you would never see on a proper telephoto lens or a telescope lens, because we're talking about two different entities at that point. But if you're going to talk about uploading things to the internet, that everything's going to get compressed anyway, you're not gonna appreciate that any different either way. And in that sense, what Apple will continue to do is refining this market of online connectivity and sharing in the digital world where things will get compressed, and we're not going to really complain one way or another. Lord knows everyone tells me everything looks cinematic on my end because Twitter keeps compressing my videos, so we can't appreciate the bokeh anyway. It destroys it anyway. So I'm like, I gotta upload it to YouTube because YouTube is the only thing that will give us what we want to try to share. So I've given up on that. But to my point is that I wouldn't call it a substitute. You have something that you're already using anyway for online communications and everything else for your cell phone needs, that also gives you the best camera that you have is the one that's in your pocket or the one that's with you, and that is your go-to everything. You're not taking your Blackmagic out to take photos unless you're going to do a photo shoot with your wife just for the battery to die. But outside that, you're not going to, hang on a second guys, let me grab my gear, and you're going to set up everything. You're going to have your phone, and they're they're enhancing that. I don't know if I would call that a substitute. Most of the time, it is the famous good enough, and they've only improved on good enough. I don't know if I can agree with substitute when it's just a whole different thing altogether.
Well, maybe substitute's not the right word then. I could call it alternative of a point and shoot that, because you're right, I'm not going to take my Blackmagic everywhere I go, but if I'm getting hung up, the details that would warrant an upgrade or that you're suggesting might make me want to upgrade are things that I would care about in the dedicated camera world, not the point and shoot world. I care about 4K at 60 on a dedicated camera. I care about the certain amount of blur, certain amount of frame rate, certain amount of lens options with telephoto and whatnot. I care about that with specific cameras. For the phone in my pocket that I need to really quick snap a photo of this, get it. I'm not going to care about ProRes 4K at 60 with that. I'm not going to care about cinematic mode being 4K at 60 with something that I'm not caring much about. A squirrel, let me get a video of that, or hey, there's a cat, let me film that. So that's what convinced me that this is going to be my last iPhone for a while, is when I realized that it's the details I'm getting hung up on an alternative where the details are not relevant. The details matter with the dedicated stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Professional grade. Go ahead, Nick.
That makes sense for the point and shoot stuff. But for me, at least, why I kind of already decided in my head I'm probably going to upgrade next year. Any incremental improvement on the camera, which they do every year, they find another one or two little features to throw at you every year. Mm-hmm. That's important to me because what I'm doing is capturing history happen. And the highest quality, the best tools that I can have while that's happening, the better. That's the reason why I have so many Sony cameras. But there are the moments where it's just faster to whip out my iPhone. And now it has a 3x telephoto zoom. That's like, woo! wow, it's amazing. I can actually kind of see the stuff that's happening across the street. And, I'm at the end of the day, it's still a phone. I'm not using that. It's not my bread and butter. But just being able to quickly whip out a fairly competent point and shoot, basically, that gets better every year incrementally is important. And, this stuff isn't happening again. They're not going to be building Starbase again. Well, hopefully they're not going to be building Starbase again.
Not there. Yeah.
Hopefully we don't get any explosions. But
Starbase 2 is on Mars.
Starbase 2 is on. There you go. There you go. I can't wait for that. But this stuff isn't happening again, so it's up to me and the people on the ground there to capture this in as high a quality as possible, and share that with as many people as possible. And sometimes the right balance between sharing the information with people and getting it in good quality is the iPhone. When I'm, making a tweet real fast to update people on a developing news event, I do use my Sony sometimes for those, but that requires me to take the SD card out, get the Lightning SD card reader, plug it in, wait for photos to load all of the 300 photos on the camera. Then I can select the one I actually want to load, and then it imports, then I can edit it, and then I can add the watermark, and then I can post it. Or with the iPhone, I just take the picture, add the watermark, and post it, and it's that's faster. And so
for your use case, annual upgrades make sense to me.
I know, yeah. So I that's my reasoning why I think I'll probably be upgrading next year, just because I need that good. Any incremental quality we can get, the better.
I hint a tone of shame in your voice, Drew.
Ooh. Shame?
Yeah, am I onto something there? Are you?
Not that I know of. It could be subconscious. I don't feel any.
Do you feel a certain way that you keep spending money every year on an iPhone, knowing that it's becoming less and less prevalent? And the one thing that you cared most about was your interaction with the device, and so you got the smoother animation. And now that you have it, you maybe you don't have to try to scratch an itch, fill this hole in your heart, this iPhone shaped hole in your heart that you weren't fulfilled, and you're not satisfied, and you're very good at not upgrading your watches, your iPads, your Macs, and everything else in the ecosystem. And
right. That's what I kept using as an example. People are like, no, you do this with everything. I was like, what are you talking about? I have a 3-year-old iPad, a 4-year-old Mac.
People who've been around long enough, you all know that for actually most of it, kudos to Nick too, because I used to think Nick was an annual thing too, and so he stuck with his Apple Watch and iPad and everything. I think we're all pretty disciplined in most things, but for some reason we get that Steve Jobs reality distortion effect done on our brains when it comes to iPhones, and we think like this is the one. So I have a hint of shame of upgrading every year, but you kind of made an argument for me, Drew, that I still save money just by selling your gosh darn devices. Guys, stop trading them in. It's meant to have you lose. Apple gives you such a terrible rate because they're the middleman. They're going to turn around and sell it, and they want to make a profit off of that. If you just be a little bit more proactive with your products, even Apple Watches and stuff. If you just go and sell them yourself on Swappa or Facebook Market or any of these things, you guys will get way more money out of it than a $50 to $70 trade-in value, because Apple needs to make a profit too, because they're a company. So doing the numbers that you've made a video about a few weeks ago, I'm not spending that much by upgrading every year, but now I'm carrying this shame with me, because I don't want to do that because I'm addicted, and we've done dedicated episodes about our addictions with this stuff, and I'm
this
cognitive.
Phone isn't helping.
It's not helping, but I can't lie to myself.
Way too much. Yeah.
I don't want to lie to myself anymore.
The flip.
Get the flip. You won't want to use your phone.
Screw this phone.
You can't use your phone. It'll be broken.
No, I had fun with that video, and I'm glad I did the numbers so that people can basically figure out, as long as you're able to sell it and recoup a lot of that costs. I understand, and I'm well aware that you don't spend that much money, even buying a $1,000 iPhone every year, off selling the last one. You typically end up spending around $250, maybe $300 a year to have the latest iPhone,
and that's worth it.
And for some, that's worth it. And I'm trying to make a point of, even with that, even if it was $200 a year, even $150 a year, the feature upgrades they could offer are not worth that to me. For the same reason, I still plan on reviewing products, and I'll still check them out and tell you what I think of them. It's not like I'm never going to review an iPhone again. It's just for the same reason I love Center Stage. I'm a huge fan of Center Stage, but I'm still rocking an iPad without it from 3 years ago. And I liked Thunderbolt being on the iPad. I was like, good, that's a smart idea. They should do that. M1 chip on an iPad, mini LED. There's all these great things they've done, but I decided that looking at the cost, even accounting for selling the old one, not worth the upgrade for those features alone, because 2018 Pro does so much of the same stuff, still really, really
and
well.
And iPad OS is still iPad OS.
iPad OS
Unfortunately.
That's all the limiting factors there. So with the iPhone, I think I've just reached that equilibrium point where I'm like, I am going to have to wait several years before I see an upgrade that would make such a substantial difference that it's worth spending the extra money, because I'm open to ideas. Like, I'm thinking, I was worried about posting this video because I know I can't really go back on it later without, turning myself into a huge hypocrite. But seriously, like, I thought a lot about what could happen next year that's going to make me go, oh, I really need that. And I was thinking long and hard for days and days, and I was like, I don't know. I can't imagine it. So
AR
people
glasses
can think of something. Oh, if I need
glasses.
it to use AR glasses?
Yeah.
Those
I
are
guess
coming
that would
next
be
year.
hard.
Sorry.
I'm not trying to make the case for next year. I'm just because what Drew's ultimately saying is that why upgrade at all going forward until the thing just dies on me. So I'm not even thinking next year. I'm just thinking not even 2 years, 3 to 5, like you said.
Yeah.
What would do that?
A good argument.
If AR glasses is only compatible with the latest and greatest, what's the AR glasses then worth to you?
Right. You'd have to factor that into the retail cost.
Yeah.
But yeah, even the iPhone 5 supported the first Apple Watch. It was pretty old at that point. So I feel like even if the glasses required a pretty recent generation, I should be good. But either way, it's easily 3 to 4 years out.
The plot twist is every
upgrade.
phone that has LiDAR, so from 12 Pro on, what is
You need LiDAR.
I see.
iPad LiDAR
I
iPad? That's the plot twist. That's the only thing that's compatible then. So then at that case, maybe everyone's safe then.
That makes
Maybe.
sense.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good one. It's not one feature single-handedly that would get me to upgrade, but I think it's all these features put together. It's like, I won't just upgrade for USB-C. I won't just upgrade for 4K 60 cinematic mode. But whatever my next iPhone is, I want it to have, obviously, 4K 60 at all those codecs. I want it to have Thunderbolt, not just USB-C. I want it to be notchless. I want it to be...
Notchless,
of
my
course,
goodness.
compatible with
I didn't even
Apple
think about
Glass.
the notch. What? It's
I don't
such a
care about the camera
non-issue.
hole.
Yeah, it's such a non-issue.
You're looking at the flip with the camera hole. Like, it makes so little difference. I don't understand why people act like that's a major refresh. There's a giant redesign. It's like, dude, there's a camera at the top.
It's a non-issue.
cares?
I don't.
I actually have a whole video planned about that. I'm gonna rant about the camera holes a little bit, but
Better do it before we post this show then.
okay.
Yeah.
It'll make sense later, but anyway, I'm happy to prove everyone wrong. I feel like everyone's doubting me. Like, all the comments were like, "No, you're wrong. You're lying. This is BS. You're cap." So I was like,
You're
okay.
cap. That's cap.
You've all motivated me to keep this phone even longer. From all the negative comments, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna wait till it doesn't get iOS updates anymore.
And you know what? I can tell who are newer subscribers or who are newer viewers of yours as opposed to people who've been around. Because when Drew gets spiteful and he gets vindictive, out of principle alone, he's going to prove you all wrong.
Out of principle.
Just a principle alone. Even if he doesn't like it anymore, Drew has something we like to call pride, and
yeah, that's true. Well, even the Type-C thing, it's like I only charge via MagSafe, so I don't really care. I want it to get Type-C, but I'm not gonna.
The real exciting day will
phone.
be when MagSafe Duo gets USB-C. That'll be the exciting day.
Yes, I'll buy a new MagSafe Duo, and then I'll say my last MagSafe Duo for a while.
yeah.
Also, I'm kind of trying to have this goal of not keeping any Apple products next year. I think I'm gonna do it.
Well, you did that this year, right? Oh, you're keeping a watch? Are you keeping the watch?
No. Keeping the watch, keeping the phone, getting a Mac.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff this year I'm keeping,
Okay.
but only thing I'm worried about is AirPods. I think my iPad will be fine. My Mac will be fine. I'm not sure if my AirPods will last me all of 2022.
Speaking of AirPods,
we'll see.
I found a pair of AirPods Max for $390 at Best Buy. I haven't bought them.
New?
Should I get them? 30 seconds, yes or no?
New?
$390.
Are they new?
Open box, but they're blue. So, not a fan of the color, but $390 is below the price we all said that's
Are
the price it
you
should
going
be.
to get, regardless, are you going to get another in-ears? Regardless?
Probably not. I mean, the AirPods 3 rumors aren't very enticing. AirPods 2 Pro don't sound very enticing. I don't know.
They look different.
Yeah.
Then yes. If you're not
know.
interested in in-ears, then yeah, I would say get it.
Yeah.
Sounds good. All right. We'll
Cool.
buy them and talk about them next week. We gotta
Okay.
go.
We will.
Yeah.
See you guys
Bye,
later.
everyone. Have a great week.
Bye.